fuck, that whiskey's looking at me.
This is going to be a sloppy night, I can tell.
Oh, fuck. Well, I already ate two THC gummies before I got here.
Oh, God.
I don't know. I just...
The party gets fucked up. It's Blood Feud with a sheep. What was the illithid sex book we talked about? Was it The Birds and the Illithids?
Life begins at face inception.
So anyways, welcome to a Blood Feud with the Sheep podcast.
Yay.
I'm Clark.
And I'm Steven.
Wow.
I am hot and handsome Rod.
I'm Scott. I'm your daddy.
Yeah.
Hi, Scott.
Scott's our DM.
That's right.
That stands for Daddy Man.
It does stand for Daddy Man. Welcome, everyone,
Daddy Man and Banana.
to Telbos. Telbos is an island continent on the planet Abir. Fans of D&D are familiar with the planet Toril on the continent of Faerun, more specifically the Sword Coast. This does not take place there. The forces that have long guided civilization have begun to stagnate, and whispers of power long lost to time begin anew. It began with war, as many things do. The creation of the gods had an unintended side effect. Counterparts equal in both strength and number, the primordials were born. Unable to coexist, they battled endlessly over land and power, shaping the very face of the world with their conflicts. Rather than allowing the world of Abir Toril to be destroyed, Ao, the first and god over all others, split the world into two copies, both existing in the same time and place, but out of phase with each other, like two sides of the same coin, always together, but never to interact.
It's like my ex-wife.
You beat me to it.
Toril, the setting of many stories from the Forgotten Realms, TM, was given to the gods, who ruled over it and flourished, with abundant magic and wonderful creatures. But the primordials were given dominion over Abir, the lesser-known flat planet where this adventure takes place. Yes, a disk. Fucking deal with it.
Well, that's
What?
just the truth. I mean, God said that the earth is flat, therefore the earth is flat. Fuck you globalists.
I'm out of here.
Or the globists. What's it called?
The primordials stagnated, quickly fading without their counterparts. What remained in Abir was a world that remembered and worshipped the old gods, but did not know their graces. A world without magic. Save for a few artifacts left behind from the war at the dawn of time. Pieces of raw, elemental chaos in physical form, called relics. Now for you listeners at home, this translates to, magic is much more special and hard come by. And for storytelling's sake, our players at the table temporarily have access to fewer magical abilities. The defeat of Tiamat 500 years ago echoed through both worlds, with chromatic dragons experiencing a great sundering. There are only a handful of dragons left now. But life continued on for the lesser beings of Abir. History became scripture, and faded into myth and obscurity. There was a relative peace for a long time. The mortal races warred amongst themselves over petty conflicts, with humans eventually finding themselves more plentiful and more successful than the other races, but with no great disk-changing events altering the course of the world. However, some were not happy with this static state of the world, and so we find ourselves outside Quernos, city of crime, at the center of the island continent of Telbos. Leave all consent at the front door. And that's really all we need to start the campaign. The rest we're going to learn together.
Yeah.
Anyone have any questions just about the background of the world?
No, man. I like it.
Yeah.
We're going to begin the only way I know how to start a D&D campaign. In a tavern.
The French.
There's a large fat man.
You won't leave.
He's got a chicken stuck to his hand. Olsen, who's the fucking chicken? I brought it from home. Mine.
We start in a tavern where a half-elfin man is sitting down at the bar. The bartender mindlessly cleaning and setting up for the busy night that's approaching, but it is not nighttime. It is the middle of the day. Quick, why don't you describe your character?
Oh, is this me?
No.
Oh, wow.
I said describe it. It didn't say it was going to be you.
I'm the half elf. I am Lojan.
How do you spell lotion?
It's like lotion, but with an S.
No,
And
it's
then an
not.
I-A-N.
That is not how it's
It's an S and an A instead of a T and an O.
L-O.
So straightforward.
S-I. There's a nut in my throat.
That is the
L-O-S.
canon spelling now.
Not in my throat.
L-O-S-I-A-N. Lojan.
No, that is lotion with an S instead of a T.
God
I'm pretty
damn
sure.
it.
That's
Lojan. A middle-aged half-elf with a pale face and dark eyes. Eyes that show defeat and apathy. At first glance, he could be a vagabond, but a closer look reveals a flat, wide-brimmed black hat, a holy symbol of 2 hands around his neck, and a scarf that had once been white, tipped with red, but the elements and neglect rob its brilliance. Lojan was once a man of unwavering faith and devotion of the Ilmatari, that's the Church of Ilmater, but now he is troubled and lost, and he is not circumcised.
Yeah, we're going to need to know that for every character.
Well.
Including Alacordia.
Oh my god.
Is there female genital mutilation in this
Oh
world?
boy. We're going to find out together.
This is going to be an adventure.
Let's label those labia. We're in the bar. The bartender's child is running around haphazardly playing with a ball with a dog. You've mostly tuned him out by this point because he's been doing this for like an hour. But a quick throw and a very loud whack smacks into the bunch of statues in the corner, drawing your attention because a small glass candle shattered. Please make a religion check.
I rolled a 2, so that's a 6.
Beautiful.
There's a couple yeah.
This is how we're going to start this campaign, Scott.
Yeah. There's a couple statues of various deities. The thing that you notice with a 6 is that there's not one statue to one god. There's 3 statues to 3 gods. You recognize Ilmater, your god, or maybe not, but you do not recognize the other 2 symbols. They're pretty abstract.
Okay.
And the bartender screams at his kid, "Cut that shit out. You'll bring Ilmater's wrath down on us." And he turns to you and he says, "I'm so sorry about that. Kids, right? Can I offer you a drink? On the house. Generosity is the best countermeasure to a little light blasphemy, you know."
On the house?
Yes. Whenever you blaspheme, you're supposed to whenever you err against the crown god, you're supposed to sacrifice in some way.
On the house? I mean, I'll take a, maybe 3 fingers, 4 fingers of whiskey, please.
He laughs and gives you a beer. This is all we sell here.
What about the champagne?
The French.
That guy's raving about it over there.
Oh, you mean Orkson Wells?
Nice.
He's just munching on chicken in the corner.
And Lojan looks at the bartender very solemnly and with no meaning behind his words. He just goes, he raises his glass to you and he goes, "Thanks be to the god on the rack."
He nods very solemnly. This seems to have a very significant impact to just him in general. Like he takes it quite to heart. And he kind of eyes you up and down and says, "No offense meant here, traveler, but you don't really look like you're from the city of crime. What brings you to my establishment here?"
He looks at the bartender. Well, he takes a swig of his beer. He don't swig beer. He takes a sip of his beer, and he goes, or his ale, I should say. And he goes, "I'm on a bit of a sabbatical, but I'm doing some research. If you get me."
The bartender nods, and looking at his face, you can tell that he does not get you. But he is a bartender, and his job is to serve alcohol and not ask questions. So he says, "Oh, good. Well, just be careful. There's a lot of And he kind of glances around to make sure the room's clear before going. There's a lot of untowards in this city. Crime is pretty unchecked here. Make sure you protect your pockets.
Oh, I'm aware, barkeep. I thank you for your advice, though.
You're most welcome. And he walks away. And as you lift your beer to take another sip, a little piece of paper falls out and lands on the counter in front of you. And it says, Lotion, I know what you did. Meet me at the 5th of High Harvest in the Eel's Foot Tavern at sunset. And it occurs to you that it is the 5th of High Harvest today.
Oh, what a coincidence. How convenient.
How convenient.
That's Clark Staggs talking.
Yeah.
Lotion just reads it and doesn't even look around, just quickly tucks it in his pocket and then does a little over his shoulder to see if anyone's watching him. Is anyone watching him?
Make a perception check.
11.
The bar is empty, save for a child playing with his dog and Orson Welles getting just sloshed in the corner.
Rosebud.
There's definitely Orcs and Wells that left the room.
I finished my beer. What time is it now?
It's high noon.
You said 5?
Yeah.
I've got 5 hours to kill.
Mm-hmm.
Barkeep.
The bartender comes in from the back, and it's a different guy than the guy who's been serving you all morning. He says, yeah, what is it? What do you want?
Can I get a refill on the house, please?
He scoffs at you. We didn't do anything on the house here. Completely different bartender than the man who was there before.
Bloody
also, where did you get that beer?
I go quickly, okay, and I just glug, 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 and I go, it'll matter be with you, and I just walk away.
Glory be. We cut to the market square, where a young resident of Kronos is making their way from stall to stall, perusing items, not able to afford most of the goods they see. There's a few lighter things, and you see kind of flitting across your mind that it would be easy to just snatch them. You could pawn them for a ticketed meal or a nice treat for yourself, but you know that's not the code. That's not the way of things. There's loud yelling, people talking all around you. The port district is audible in the background with the sounds of various people passing the same fish back and forth. Rod, tell us about your character. That's how fish markets work, right? I don't know.
Fish markets?
Yeah.
Fish market square? Maybe. Well, you see a young girl, 18. Gonna make that very clear. Oh dear. Oh no. Remember the rule about not narrating sex scenes? We're not even there yet.
No, I don't remember that.
Oh dear.
Well, we're breaking it right no. Please no.
Cordia is a human rogue with a chip on her shoulder and something to prove. Dressed in dark, tanned leather armor, kind of making no noise. She has auburn hair cut to just below her chin, and framing the bottom half of her face is a dark purple cloth, also accenting her blue eyes. Pale. Fairly slight frame, and you can tell there's no muscle underneath her sleeves, but the belt is filled with daggers, and a wicked-looking rapier means that she would probably be a match, nonetheless. She also has one fingerless glove on her right hand that looks like a complete glove, but looks like a black leather glove.
Fingerless?
Fingerless, yes.
She's 18. Is she flicking her bean?
Also has soft leather boots and leggings, and she is walking deftly in between people that kind of seem to notice her, but also disregard her.
Deftly?
Yeah.
With skill and grace and ease.
Thank you.
How do you spell
How's that?
Alicordia, by the way?
Alicordia.
I'm sorry, I blanked. What was the race?
She's human.
Human, okay.
Well, I guess that can be said that Stephen isn't a racist because he doesn't see race.
That's true. Right? That's true. Yes. Inspiration point, Stephen.
Mm-hmm.
There's a podcast. No one sees anything.
Very woke.
Shut up.
Take
Except for the
discouragement, I see.
except for the word painting, we're painting in their brain.
Some people don't see pictures in their mind.
It's true. They're the
Yeah.
NPCs.
As I just stare off into the distance.
I did forget to mention that she has a bow with a quiver as well, short bow.
Okay.
Well, you are you're taking a path down a particular lane that you realize it's been a while since you've gone this way. This is the fastest way to get to the Eel's Foot Tavern, which is where you're headed to, but you haven't been there for a very long time. So walking by, you happen on a very familiar shopkeeper, one Fring Holtz, an elderly man of about 60 to 65 years old. And you just, out of old habits, stop for a moment to eye up his produce. You know that he sells, air quotes here, more than that. But it's not the kind of stuff you put out on display, if you know what I'm saying.
So is he a fence?
Yes. No. And he looks at you and says, "Oh, how you doing today, young lass?"
Here we go.
I'm gonna get the saxophone ready.
I'm just expecting to hear I'm from Fife.
I'm from Fife! The kingdom of Fife!
Yes, that's the voice. Go with that one.
No, never. That's fine, Holtz. Who are you?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. It's been a while since I've seen you. You don't come around Dice on Thursdays anymore?
No.
I guess. And he kind of makes a look as though he realizes he probably shouldn't have mentioned gambling. He goes, "Oh, right. Right. Well, I'm sorry again about what happened to you."
But, no, it's fine. Gets a little bit flustered, and that's fine. I do appreciate that. Thank you.
He kind of gestures at his wares and he says, "Is there anything you're needing today? Anything I can? I'd happily give you one free item here if you need a snack or a lunch. Technically, your dad would need money, but I think the debt's forgiven, all things considered."
No, that's fine. Thanks. I have everything I need at the tower.
He just nods knowingly, and the bustle of city life kind of continues around you as this little snippet of a life that you once enjoyed kind of passes you by. Very innocuous, very almost no interaction at all. It wouldn't stand out on any other day except today because there's a lot on your mind as you head towards the Eel's Foot Tavern. You know that there's a big job coming up. As we cut to a different part of the market where we find a young halfling with some traders. And he appears to have been transporting some goods through the countryside with them. You can see them shaking your hand, thanking you, heading off in a different direction, and you're left standing alone in the square. There's various sights and sounds of the big city that would be newer and exciting to you, having grown up in a small town and all. Stephen, tell us about your character.
Shun is a pale-skinned young male halfling, about 16 years old, who has just received pay for having escorted a caravan into town. He looks apathetic to the world around him, as if he cares about nothing, but deep down, he actually feels more than most, as he's an empath. He's dressed in a black, sleeveless gi, and has jet black hair styled in an emo swoop. His eyes are a piercing light gray that seems to convey so much emotion behind a stone-cold face. Although small in stature, he has the lean body of a well-trained and experienced monk. Something you can't see about him is that he's cursed by a god, which affects his halfling luck. And we'll learn more about that down the road.
You're looking for someone to sell a book to. And instead you find a traveler with a crowd gathered around him. And he seems to be putting on a bit of a show in the square. You hear him say, "Now, using the mystic arts that I've learned from these ancient secret villages, I've mastered the power within my own body to turn myself into a weapon." And he just punches a board. "And for a mere 5 gold, over the course of a 3-week intensive program, I can teach you, too, to master your own body's secret hidden energy." And he fucking kicks a board. Make a perception check.
Is this Rick Kwando
Yes.
Who's Rick Kwando? Is that the guy
from
who's...
Napoleon Dynamite?
Oh!
Rex Kwando. It's Rex Kwando.
Yes,
sorry.
yes.
I also rolled a 2 for a grand total of 4.
Fantastic. He looks out at the crowd.
We're off to a good start, boys.
He looks at the crowd and he says, "Why, in just 3 minutes' time, I could take any of you fat sacks of shit and teach one of you to punch through a wooden board using only your mind." Any volunteers from the crowd?
The French champagne.
Orson Welles.
Orson Welles walks up drunk as shit and he punches a chicken through a board. The secret to boards is through.
It's the acting. There's too many actors. Yeah.
He's like, there's too many directors on this stage.
Then one day the aliens came. Any volunteers from the crowd? No one wants to volunteer for a martial arts display. Perhaps.
A monk? Maybe a monk?
He points at you in the crowd, and he says, "You there, young boy. 5 minutes, and even you could be harnessing the energies inside you.
I've been training my whole life, old man.
Come forward. And you make your way up, and he holds out a wooden board. But before he lets you touch it at all, he says, "Now, you look flimsier than a piece of paper on the wind, boy, but concentrate. Feel your key deep inside you. Your key to success." He's saying the word K-E-Y, not the ninja shit.
I'd like to make an insight check on this dude if he himself could take a punch.
Sure, absolutely.
Not nat, but 20.
No, he absolutely could not. You have been in combat before. This man appears to be a charlatan fraud. And in fact, while you're focusing on, like, sizing him up, fucking, like, you're doing the Terminator 2 thing where it's like, you're reading out all of his weak, like, groin, vulnerable spot, unguarded left flank, and he's just talking to the crowd. He's showing
Abandoned
them
by
this-
his mother at a
this
young
wooden
age.
board, and he holds the board out in front of you and he says, "Now, hit."
I fully miss the board, and I punch him right in the chest.
I mean, make an attack roll for sure.
18.
You fucking just punch this guy in the chest, and he doubles over immediately. And the board that he was holding with his hands snaps in half because it was pre-cut. And he just keels over on the ground and goes, Look at the training that I can give you in just 5 minutes. And the crowd kind of starts like, "Oh, I don't know. I knew the hidden villages didn't exist. I knew there was no mystic arts." And you feel
More like mystic farts, if you ask me.
You just feel like you feel the anger of the crowd, not in the way that a person standing in front of a bunch of angry people at a charlatan would feel. Like deep inside, you can feel almost the individual emotions coming off people. He tried to trick me, and the crowd kind of disperses, and the guy sits up a bit and like vomits, and he goes, "What the hell was that, boy? We were doing karate and we were doing it real cool, and then you messed it up."
I did karate. I don't think you can.
He stands up, like clutching his side, and he limps off, and a shadowy figure steps out from behind the alley, and he goes,
The French champagne.
Orson Welles steps out, and he looks at you and he says, "That was some impressive karate, my boy. I'd like to give you this note a shadowy figure in that alley gave me to give to you."
It's got chicken stains all over it.
It's
take the
an
note.
envelope, and it says "Shun" on the front. And Orson Welles kind of wanders off, and you see him passing by a rotisserie chicken stand, and you can just hear him like in the background going, "There's a man in southern Telbos who has perfected the fine art of champagne.
Get the fuck out of here, Orkson. We don't need you being arrogant.
There's too much
God damn it.
direction going
Get
on.
out of here.
How am I supposed to leave without chicken?" What do you do? There's no gravy in this pot.
Shun takes a note and he's like shadowy figure in the alley. Oh, this. What could this be? And he's gonna open it when he gets back to the inn. But like he's, bought his couple supplies just to build what he wants to make, the smoke bombs and stuff, and he just heads back to the inn.
Yeah. We jump
And then
immediately to the end.
Yes.
Where you open the letter.
Yes, and then he opens the letter. That was what I was going for, yes.
Good. It says, I know you took something. And if you don't want other people to know, come to the Eel's Foot Tavern. Sundown.
All right, well, so Shun opens this note, and he immediately, checks his bag to make sure that, that book's still there. And he's like, oh, boy, I could be in so much trouble for this. I guess I gotta go to this. Shit, I wanted to leave tonight. Oh, well.
Fantastic. We fade out on a very scared-looking halfling going through his bag, making sure a book is there, as the sun begins to set. And we'll roll to see who gets to the tavern first.
What are we rolling?
What are we rolling?
Just a roll.
I have
Any
15.
roll. Yep.
15. 1.
A 1. A great big
Look
1.
who shows up late.
You are rolling
5.
on fire.
Alicordi, you show up at the bar on time. The Eel's Foot Tavern. You notice that this used to be 2 buildings. The Eel Tavern and the Horsefoot Brothel.
Horsefoot. I thought you said Horsefoot.
I did say Horsefoot.
Horsefoot.
As in concubine.
Look, don't kink shame them, Clark.
Slut for money.
Yeah, slut for money. And it looks like at one point the 2 signs of the buildings have been cut in half and combined, and that the walls between 2 buildings were knocked down to make a combination brothel and tavern. You make your way in, and the madam at the front sees you and says, business a pleasure, baby.
All business.
And immediately there's like an acknowledgement in her eyes of, you're not here for the goods. And she points to a room in the back. Nondescript, just a plain wooden door.
She walks over to it and opens it.
There is inside exactly 5 chairs. None of them are full right now. And there's a chalkboard at the very front of the room that has just a bunch of Pepe Sylvia type nonsense, crazy people things on it.
She'll walk over to the furthest corner away from the door and put her back against the wall and just start casually cleaning her fingernails with one of her knives.
Perfect. 2 more people show up. A huge Goliath and a tiny little gnome, and they seem to arrive together. And you can tell that they're chatting amongst themselves. Do you speak Gnomish?
That's actually a good question. No, I don't.
No.
Because
You don't know what they're saying, but you just give me a perception check.
hold on. I just realized that I my other language I forgot to put down.
How embarrassing.
Sorry, what was I doing?
Podcast canceled. Perception check.
Perception? Okay. 10.
They seem friendly, familial almost.
Like lovey-dovey?
No, fraternal.
Yeah.
Fraternal love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you getting at, Clark?
Scott's not going for it.
Yeah.
Scott's trying to keep this clean. I'm going to drag him down into the dirt.
Crunch, crunch, crunch.
And fuck him.
Another guy enters the room, and he's staggeringly handsome, human male, with his hair slicked back, 6-pack, not wearing a shirt for some reason. One could almost describe him as being a Brad Pitt-esque type of character. And he sits down right at the table, and he pulls out a bag of chips, and he looks at you, and he says...
That's what he says?
That's what he says.
Okay. So he looks like Brad Pitt, but he's eating a big bag of potato chips?
As Brad Pitt does in every movie, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. I actually don't know that. The only one I can think of is Fight Club.
Ocean's 11.
Oh, okay. I guess he likes potato chips.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's just always eating food. That's weird.
Yeah. She sighs, rolls her eyes, and goes back to just cleaning her nails, paying no attention to anyone.
And then a man enters the room. A tall, dark-featured human man. And when I say dark-featured, I mean potentially even half drow. Bald. No hair. Doesn't say a word. But the moment he enters, you notice everyone else in the room kind of seems to sit up a bit. And he goes up to the chalkboard and he starts writing things down. And the room seems very tense. He turns around and he looks at you, Alacordia, and he says,
It's hard to find good help these days. There's supposed to be more people here. They're late. I don't know if they're coming. We might have to make do with this. I've hired 5 of you for a heist.
and at that moment the door bursts open and a young Shun comes in.
Hi.
Bam! Hi.
The room goes silent, the whole scene.
That's the Western where the double doors go goo.
Except everyone looks, and because Shun's so short, they're like, look. Like,
And you look around with these dark eyes and you
camera
go,
pans down.
hi.
They're like very piercing, like light gray, but everything else about him is like dark.
You just feel so much rage coming off of this fellow, and he just looks at you and he goes,
Sit the fuck down.
All right.
Now, I don't know where the priest is, but
There's a priest coming?
Cut to Lojan passed out in the alley with an empty bottle next to him. Seriously. He's just,
He wakes up to Orson Welles.
he just
Orson Welles is like grabbing the bottle off of him.
There's my Pawn Man song.
I'm like, stealing is a sin. And I pull up my dick without getting up and just start pissing in the alley.
Orson Welles, fan favorite recurring character with deep illustrious background, beloved by the fans. He kicks you awake and he says, "Now, I may be a simple director of plays, and plays made via audio medium, but I don't think you should be passed out right now. I think perhaps you should be off enjoying life and not being blackmailed." And then he eats a whole chicken in front of you. Yeah, and he just pulls out one bone.
Such a niche joke.
Gluttony is a sin too. Then I shake it off and then slowly get back up.
The guy in front of the room, a Kevin Spacey-esque type of character, looks at you and he says,
we're missing one, but the job has to happen no matter what.
What's the job?
Don't interrupt me. Don't do that. You're nobody. You're nothing. You're nothing to me. I can find midget ninjas anywhere. Don't do that. There
Shun
is
just
yeah,
stares back at him piercingly.
there is an estate just outside town that has rumored to have multiple magical relics and artifacts inside of it. And there is a specific magic artifact that I need from the basement vault. Now, the difficulty with this is that normally this collector, one Aldwin Harbuckle, he has a small army at his disposal. He keeps them around for one thing and one thing only, protecting his private collection. Now, normally this matter is considered to be nigh but impregnable, but we have a very unique opportunity coming up. His 50th birthday is coming, and he's going to throw a masquerade ball. And I need you to sneak in, distract people enough to get access to that vault, and bring me the artifact inside. And in exchange, the thing that I know about each of you that people shouldn't know about can go away. And how? Let's meet our crew. Alacordia, a thief, can pick locks, can sneak into places, cut purse, and more importantly, innocuous-looking little girl. No one will suspect you. We need your master thief skills. Midget boy.
Midget, crapper.
What you call me, old man?
There's more nuts in my throat.
I'm given to understand that you are uniquely skilled in martial arts. That means that we can bring a weapon into this facility, even though they'll take all of your weapons away at the door. Also, I don't know, ninja shit. Go through windows and stuff, maybe crawl through a vent. You're tiny, I like that. Work with that. Use that.
Yeah, it's like
and
what I'm good at.
Yeah, that's why I brought you here. For your skills.
Cool. We
Cool.
get paid at all?
Maybe it would be
you
a
don't
better
get-
idea for you to shut up.
Yeah, man, blackmail. I don't know if you know how blackmail works. You don't get money. You get not blackmailed.
I guess that's nice too. I should also remind, Shun is 16. He's very young.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
He looks at the gnome and the fucking Goliath, and he says,
I do
course.
speak Gnomish, by the way.
well, they're not talking right now.
It might come in handy later, that's all.
We have, of course, the Oritz brothers, genetic brothers. True-born, same parents, not half brothers, whole brothers. One is a bruiser, the other is a bit of a loser, but together they're quite an admirable fighting force. They're going to be your muscle. And we're supposed to have a priest. I don't know where he is. In the meantime, we have our good friend Lee Trench, whose sole purpose is to eat food during scenes where people talk so that they can bounce ideas off of him without it seeming weird like they're talking to themselves.
And the Brad Pitt-esque character just goes,
And just nods.
This
Just
is
nods.
absurd. This is absurd. I didn't think there was going to be a priest here.
I'm given to believe that he's not a priest anymore. However, the Lord of the Manor happens to have quite an interest in religious artifacts, and so several quasi-religious type figures have been invited. The priest was supposed to be our, for the lack of a better word, the face of the operation. Do some talking, do some schmoozing, flaunt a knowledge of artifacts and relics that the rest of you don't have to make it seem like perhaps collectors. I think maybe that might be a way to get into the vault. I haven't thought that part through yet. I'm going to make you guys figure that out.
at that moment, the door smacks open, and a half-drunk, pissed himself Logan comes in.
May I? Boof! And all the heads turn and look. And there's the silhouette. This really cool silhouette with the big wide brimmed flat hat and like, not robes, but like the scarf blowing in the wind. And he stands there with the doors pushed open. And after about 2 seconds of that, he just kind of loses his footing for a second and then continues forward. And he goes, sorry I'm late. I had a bit of a run-in with Orcs and Wells in an alleyway.
This is your priest?
Glory upon you.
He smells like he's pissed himself.
By the whip. What? Have you pissed yourself?
I look down. I maybe didn't shake off properly, but I mean, we're supposed to live in squalor, so points to me. Thank you very much.
He seems thoroughly shamed by that. Very, very intelligent religious whip. 1 inspiration point to Clark. Woo! The Kevin Spacey character who has not given his name yet says,
So here's the deal. No one's ever been inside this manor, so I can't give you blueprints or a clever plan that I spent hours and hours thinking through that has 2 different plan B and plan C's for when that fail. I'm going to count on the 5 of you to figure that out.
and then he kind of looks around and he counts and he goes,
The 6 of you. I count the brothers as 1, but I guess they should be 2. There's a couple different things. The tickets to get in are extremely unique, and unless you're able to get a physical copy of one, we're not going to be able to create a forgery that could pass. The guards are going to thoroughly search catering, wait staff, and all guests. There are no weapons allowed in of any kind. You'll only be allowed into certain parts of the manor. Guards will be posted all night at certain off-limits areas to prevent people from coming and going. The only way we know of to get in is either at the front door with an official invitation handwritten by the Lord of the Manor himself on special paper. It'd be incredibly difficult to counterfeit unless you can get your hands on a copy for me. Or you can try to sneak in with the catering staff if you want to be clever enough to try to fool them. But remember that this is a party for exactly 50 people. So there's going to be no more than 10 catering staff on scene. You would need to either replace all of them or else we're going to get found out pretty quick. And if the food is not flowing, the nobles will notice. So you need to find replacements who can actually cater. The third option, there is a weird labyrinth hedge maze on the property that is said to lead into the grounds. But
and there's like just a shrug. Like, what a weird third option.
additionally,
We would never do that.
the names of invitees are on a list that they are taking at the door. So we can't just make fake invites. You would need to find 5 guests who are attending, remove their names from the list, so that when you show up, your name will be available to get in.
Does that make sense?
So,
Do we know who's on the list?
That's the difficult part. No.
When's his
How did we
50th
discover
birthday?
about the party?
We know a couple things. We know that some delegates of the new Havenite Trading Company are coming. They have 2 invitations. They will be arriving by ship at sundown tomorrow. The reason that this is important is because since the new Havenite Trading Company is a brand new established government, no one actually knows what these officials are going to look like.
And they're coming in through the docks?
That's right.
When is the party?
3 days' time.
And they're coming through the docks on the night of the party?
They're coming through tomorrow. The second in command of the guard, who are fiercely loyal to the Lord of the Manor, Jean Blanc, will be at the front gate with alternating guardsmen who will trade out to keep them fresh throughout the evening and also let them experience the fun and festivities of the night. He is, as far as we know, inscrutable and therefore unbribable. Your job is to find out how to find more passes to get more than 2 people in, to steal some New Havenite passes so we can forge some, try to figure out the names of some people who are attending. Get yourselves in, get that artifact, get out undetected.
so
I'll work on securing some tickets. I might have some leads that we could be able to get some tickets from the New Havenites.
my trying to find Lojan's voice. I'll stick with this one for now.
Yeah, that one's got some
And if I
promise to it.
find a new voice down the road, we'll go with that. What was I going to say?
I don't... You never told us, so we don't know.
Fuck! Oh, I know what I was going to say.
I like things in my butt.
So we have to steal these passes. We can't forge them.
You need to steal at least one for us to be able to forge them, because we don't know what they look like, and they are unique. Now, you don't theoretically need to get all of you inside, but we don't know what trials await you inside. The more you get in, the more likely you have a chance of having the skill or tool set that you need to figure this out. Some information I can tell you is that the Lord of the Manor, one Aldwin Harbuckle, is obsessed with religious artifacts and is quite the religious scholar himself. He will very happily engage in any kind of talk, especially about Ilmater.
Arbuckle, does he have an orange cat who likes lasagna?
Why, you've come to point number 2. He does not.
Damn it!
He does, however, have a bit of a forgetful nature. So he has trained his pet falcon, Ramesses, to carry around a key on its neck. We don't know what that key opens, but Ramesses is often heard being whistled for, and whenever a lock is needed unlocking. So, I don't know. We had to figure all this out from like 400 feet back at the fence of the compound. You realize we don't have great intel here.
What's the whistle sound like?
Perfect bird noise.
That sounds to me like a skeleton key, if I were guessing. If it were to open all the locks, that sounds like...
Entirely possible. The chief curator of his collection, one Ilaria, is a elfin woman who is obsessed with books. There's a chance you could find her at the library.
What was your name again?
Ilaria. Ramesses the Falcon, the chief curator. Jean Blanc is the second in command, and Bastion is the chief of the guard. We know that Bastion has been known to frequent this very brothel. That's all the information I have. I'm going to leave now because I don't care for any of you. Figure out how to get this done and get me the artifact. Or, blackmail.
And he just walks out the door. Welcome to the first puzzle of the campaign.
Plan a heist.
Plan a heist.